What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And you know, other channels may steal our ideas we have here, but they'll never be able to steal the chemistry we have here, because I'm joined by the two Walter Whites of YouTube sports card content, Joe Day and E.P.R. Pahalik. How you doing, guys?
Welcome to watching Breaking Bad. For those of you that Mike did not watch it live, so what season are we on right now?
I just started season 5. We're getting
How many
to the
seasons
end.
were there?
5.
Oh, I can't wait. There's a couple episodes towards the end. I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
My response was going to be a quote, but I'm going to let it go.
Hey,
let it go. Mike, enjoy it.
No spoilers in the comments.
No spoilers.
I'm talking to you guys right there.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah, no spoilers in the comments. That would be rude. Yeah, but once you get done with Breaking Bad, then you can move on to Better Call Saul. Then you can watch the movie. There's a lot of universe stuff out there that you can watch. Very good.
That's the plan.
But yes, we do have tremendous chemistry. The three of us hold the best 3-man pod in the business. That's what I've been hearing.
I've heard that. It's been said. I don't know how true it is, but it has been said. And
we're the only 3-man pod, right? Is that why they say it? It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. Yeah.
There was a time when PSA stood for public service announcement. So I'm going to make an announcement right now that Buckaroo Banzai is available. It's included with Prime Video right now. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie. I'm guessing you guys have probably seen it. Most of our viewers hopefully have seen it. Go watch it again. Mike Ehrmantraut is in that movie, along with Doc Brown from the cast is ridiculously star-studded. It's
Christopher Lloyd.
Crazy, goofy, fun movie. And I'm guessing that most of our viewers have probably seen it at least once. Go back and watch it again. It's amazing. It's available right now.
Mike Ehrmantraut, not you, Mike. It's also an Armed and Dangerous, which is a John Candy movie with Eugene Levy, which is such a stupid movie, but I love it. So it's so bad, but it's so good at the same time. And he's in that. He's one of the union bosses. So yeah,
that's the 80s, man, right?
That is the 80s
comedies, right?
It was all cocaine fueled. All of this was cocaine fueled back in the 80s for sure. But yeah.
Well, good thing we weren't around back in the 80s to do a podcast because. How's it going, boys? What's new and exciting?
I opened up my case of Cheers cards last night. Not for viewer consumption. I was going to open up one box, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll open up a second one, and maybe I'll open up a third. Maybe I'll just open up the top row of boxes. And I'm like, well, that last box wasn't that great. I'm gonna have to open up another one. So it spiraled pretty quickly. So for those of you who were in the Cheers break, you should, except for Mike, you should all have your stuff. Let me know if you didn't. I think everyone did say they had received it, and it looked like it was delivered on pirate ship. So hopefully everyone was happy with what they got. I pulled a Ted Danson auto out of mine, which was very cool. Pulled another sketch, which was also very cool. Pretty cool sketch. It was the same artist too. There's only 8 artists, so that's not unreasonable that he would have, multiple sketches. But to pull 2 sketches out of 2 cases when they're like one every handful of cases was pretty cool. And I pulled a George Wendt, Mike.
Norm.
There it is. So I pulled a George Wendt, my second to last box. So I could have just left one box, I guess, sealed. Because I pulled the George Wendt. But I went through that, and then I opened up you'll see on 3 cards something I used from Star Trek Master Series. Opened up a box of that. I was just a ripping fiend yesterday.
Wow.
So
I got record any of it.
I did. We have so much stuff in the hopper getting ready to be released. I didn't want to put too much pressure on you, Mike.
I just pictured like this fever, like you having this like fever dream and waking up and all of a sudden just like these empty packs and these cards all stacked around you. Like you were just went into this frenzy of like ripping stuff out. All of a sudden,
But those packs, don't worry.
All the trash.
There was no trash. Keep in mind, there was no trash.
Oh,
I keep the packs because they have 4 point. They've Rittenhouse points on them. So so I'll be sending those. I have them sealed by 100. By 100, so they're ready to go because you have to.
Joe, we love you.
No, you have to send them in. They will not count them for you, so you have to send them in and have a count of them. So
did you put a label or anything on the sealed box? Or
I wrote how many points there are. Because again, you have to, the sheet requires you to say how many points you're sending in. So I do count them. I don't want to jip Rittenhouse or myself. Yeah. So I want to make sure I count them.
All right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So who's the subject of your sketch? You didn't say who.
Oh, it was, I sent you the picture, EP. Glad you read my text. It's a beer mug. It's actually really cool. It's just a hand holding a big old school 80s beer mug. That's cool. And yeah, it's a pretty cool sketch. I was happy with it. It wasn't a person like the Ted Danson we pulled, the Sam we pulled. So, but yeah, very cool. You'll see some of them up here. I'm gonna have to already rearrange this.
Get rid of that red card.
No, that one's staying.
No,
it might move down to here, but it'll definitely be in camera.
Throws off the feng shui.
Does it?
There's no subject on it, right? Just a blank red front.
Just
yeah,
red card. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Red card. That's all I see. I don't see anything on it.
So I ordered. I told you guys I've been like doing this like late 90s, early 2000s basketball stuff. I ordered 2 lots of Kobe Bryant cards, not cheap, $100 total between the two lots from the same seller. Does not combine shipping, of course. So it's $585. But when I'm bidding on that stuff, I always kind of like factor in the bidding, like that price with what I want to go for. I think I got a pretty good deal on both of them. They're, again, you're talking like late 90s, early 2000s Kobe Bryant cards, which are not cheap. And so I felt pretty good about the purchases. Then the person shipped them, and the listings advertised ground advantage shipping, no tracking number provided. Combine the two together, no tracking number provided. I said that it was shipped with no tracking. I was like, this is going to be interesting. And that was, I believe, March 6th that I won these two. I still have not seen them. So I want to get you guys' opinion. What do you guys think?
So I will say, to be fair, I mean, he should have put tracking number regardless, right? Yeah.
But at least one of the packages, right?
10 days is not actually crazy right now for the USPS. I have a card that I'm waiting for. A buddy of mine sent me in a trade. And it went from his place in Wisconsin down to Florida.
Okay.
Then up to Indianapolis. Captain Kirk is going where no man has gone.
I heard
before.
Indianapolis is like having problems right now. Like the sorting facility there is like way behind.
So yeah, the 10 days doesn't surprise me, but it's the fact that he doesn't have shipping. That's what's so concerning. Yes. Or tracking number. That's what's so concerning. Did you reach out?
Not yet. I think it's supposed to be delivered by the 17th, which would be, just today, later today. So if I don't get it today, I will reach out and say, hey, listen, no tracking number. Like, do you have any idea what's going on with this package?
He has tracking and he just didn't upload it to eBay. Maybe he used like pirate ship.
Maybe he used pirate ship. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Didn't get it entered into eBay. So that's
and maybe he forgot it. It could be an honest mistake.
Sure,
I mean, not combined.
I don't know how would you
bag move.
How would you ship it without tracking?
Like, right.
There wouldn't be any way.
I mean, I guess in theory he could send it in an envelope. You know what I mean? Like a regular, like a PWE. Because it was a 9-card order and a 12-card order. And I mean, possibly. Like, I could see him possibly doing that. But if I paid for ground advantage shipping and he sends it PWE
for 2 ground advantage shippings, right? Because he didn't combine shipping. So you're in like $10, right? For shipping.
Yep. Well, $5.85 each is what they were. So it's like even more. So like almost 12.
Well,
yeah.
If they show up in a stamped envelope,
yes,
I would request a refund 100%. There is no way I would let that stand for $11 or $12.
Right.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
so there
and negative feedback. There's no doubt in my mind we would get negative.
Yeah,
feedback.
I mean, I might even give him lower stars in the shipping just because. Like, how do you not upload the tracking like that? That seems.
Right.
It seems like there's. I don't want to say. But the thing is, we talk about this kind of stuff all the time, right? Like in this hobby, if you can scam, you will. So I thought to myself, oh, if this person's gonna like say that it's shipped and not actually ship it, and then I'm gonna ask her for a refund because they're upset with the amount of money they got for it or whatever. That was my thought was. Again, I got a pretty good deal, I think, for $100 for the two of them, and I feel I'm just that's my thought. I keep checking my
they
mail.
Were $50 each about.
It was like 40 and 60-ish. Yeah.
So could you imagine if he sent those like that amount? Because even eBay standard envelope won't cover insurance more than $20.
Yep.
So, I mean, ground advantage is 100, so that would be perfect. But yeah, I'm going to assume he just didn't upload the shit. He forgot. He did it on like Pirate Ship, like Mike was saying, and he forgot to upload it to eBay. Fingers crossed that's what happened. We'll find out later today, though. Keep us posted.
Yeah, because if you send $100 worth of cards and a PWE or a couple PWEs, people will just say they didn't get them, and you'll have to refund them. Like, leaving yourself open. I got a couple cards, just cheap cards that would have been eBay standard envelope cards that people sent me in plain white envelopes. I was like, that's interesting. I don't know why people do that though, because you get dinged if you don't upload tracking.
Yep.
So that counts against you, and somebody could say they didn't get it. Like, I wouldn't do that if I got a card from somebody, but there are a lot of people out there that would.
Right.
Yeah. I was surprised. I think I got 2 of them recently that just came in a normal plain white envelope. It's like, oh, that's a choice.
Yeah, that's new. I did that when I first got back into it. Right. I did the stamp thing when I was selling Marvel cards on a drop down when I first got into it, because that was pretty much the only thing I was selling. So I would do that, and then eBay came up with the eBay standard envelope, and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to use that. That is stupid not to, but some people, I guess, are, depending if they don't sell often, don't know about it, watch Mike's video on how to ship eBay standard envelope. There is one available on this website, or on this channel. So check that out. I had a guy who sold me, I got two lots from them, and I heard that.
That was
very nice. That was a good one. I got 2 lots from them. I asked if he combined shipping, and he responded right away and says yes. Just pay and I'll refund you the additional shipping. Okay, sounds good. I said, well, I did send a combined shipping request, but if that's how you would prefer to do it. So I did it. He just updated the tracking today, which is fine. A couple of days after I bought it, still hasn't sent me a refund yet. Now, again, it's like $5 or $6, similar to your ZP, around $5 or $6 each. I mean, I'll probably ask him tomorrow. I'm like, oh, hey, just a reminder, to refund, but I'm probably not going to get that back. But the only reason I bought the second thing is because I bought the first thing and assumed, because he put I combined shipping, would assume that he'd combine shipping. So I would have bought that second item for like $10 had I not basically been getting free shipping on it. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. Again, just be better sellers. All this is to say, be better people on eBay.
All right. Well, hey, we got a lot to get into, so I'm going to move the show along this week. Not sure if you guys have heard, but there was a lawsuit that was brought up quite a while back, but Panini have been suing Fanatics for federal antitrust laws. And this week, there was finally a hearing on some of the preliminary motions on that. I'm trying to talk like a lawyer. Go follow Paul Lesko on Twitter to get all the details, because he spells all this stuff out in much greater detail.
For dumb people like us, too. Like, for dumb people, he does not talk like a lawyer. Yeah.
But the main part of this is the main part of the antitrust suit was allowed to continue by the judge. They did dismiss the claim that it was an antitrust violation for Fanatics buying Topps. So that was thrown out. And they also threw out the suit over Fanatics stealing the Panini employees. So that was thrown out too. But it looks like this is actually going to play out, and it's going to go to a trial. And who knows? Like, this is the big thing. What happens? Like, what are the realistic things that can happen if they say, yes, they did violate it? Like, even Paul Lesko doesn't really know. He gave his kind of a synopsis at the end, and like, we don't know what would a win for Panini even mean. What do you think, EP?
Well, I mean, my reaction at first though was the thought that we're gonna get some inside baseball on this whole hobby. We're gonna find out some crap that
probably gonna get a lot of good stuff.
Right. The stuff that we have no access to. We're gonna find out if it goes to trial. If it actually does go to trial, like that's the thing I'm most excited about.
People that have a podcast like
I was just gonna say
really
that. This is fantastic.
Because we're gonna have lots of content in the future.
Before I get started, I just want to say that this, I believe 100%, I believe like 99% that this is the when this first happened and we started talking about it. We had Sports Card Dad on the show, and this is the time when I dropped the F Panini comment. I believe this is the topic, and this is because the wording
opened the floodgates.
Because
opened the floodgates.
You did.
Because of the wording in the lawsuit where they were talking about all the stuff that they did, that I blame them for some of the bad stuff in the hobby. They were claiming that Topps was doing, and so anyhow, what does this mean?
They're claiming Fanatics is doing EP. Stop saying Topps. It's different.
Okay, so what does this mean for Panini? I mean, what could this mean for Panini? There runs the full gamut. I mean, in theory, depending on how things play out, they could get the licenses back, right? Like that could be something where they could get the licenses back, and we could have instead of having exclusivity, we have multiple companies making cards, and that'd be great. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that is my pie in the sky. I really hope this happens. There's no way it's going to happen, kind of thing. But I mean, maybe some money. Like essentially, they might be able to get some money. But I also think that it gets thrown out because they look at it, and again, I think this is the lawsuit where they're saying they're blaming Fanatics for doing all these things that Panini was already doing, and I feel like it just ends up getting like this thing going to trial is almost feels like a joke, kind of, because it was a joke in the first place a little bit.
And reading Paul Lesko's recap, I do believe the judge kind of pointed out to Panini that a lot of the things in their suit were things that they have had themselves. But I guess the main difference was that Panini was saying that it was only like for a 5-year term, not long.
Are they listening to our podcast? I've been saying that for how long?
Didn't Fanatics countersue? Didn't Fanatics countersue with a similar thing? Was there any talk about that? Like, was that
I forget exactly what all that is, but that is
combined
also
together.
Yeah, that's also moving forward.
The reason I stopped you and said we need to stop saying Topps, it's Fanatics. I do not blame Topps for any of this. This is Fanatics.
The suit is against Fanatics.
This suit is against Fanatics. So we have to stop saying Topps. By we, I mean EP. You love Topps. I know you do. Fanatics are the culprit here. So they're the ones that they're named in this lawsuit. To the point about the difference, I've been saying it since we started talking about this topic, because every 5 years, someone could have come in. Topps could have come in and paid more for those licenses. They chose not to. Panini kept them. That is why they didn't have them for 20 years like we're getting with Fanatics. They had them for 5-year increments. I've been very consistent saying defending Panini with that. Like, someone could have taken the rug out from under them at any point, just like Fanatics did a couple of years ago when they came in and got all the licenses. So what's the end game here? I think it's just better leverage for some sort of sale, which would be the ultimate irony if they're suing them for antitrust and then ultimately they sell them their IP. But that's the only, I think we even said that when this topic first came up, because here's the thing. I agree with you, Mike. You can't force the NFL or the NBA to work with another company. You can't force them to do that. We're a free market capital. We were talking before the pod about free markets and capitalist society that we live in. You can't force them to sell or let them use their IP. So at the end of the day, what's a win for Panini? A win for Panini, I think, is just leveraging before a verdict is met, leveraging any sort of win in this lawsuit and using it to make some money off of Fanatics. That's probably what they're hoping for, because I can't see a world where EP, I agree with you, it'd be great if it was like, okay, it's a free-for-all again like it was in the 90s. I just don't see that happening. I don't see the leagues being forced to do that. I will argue against myself just now and say, but if the leagues could make money and sell 2 licenses, maybe they would. I don't know. The NFL loves money too.
Don't stop there. Up neck, maybe. Like, get all 3 of them.
I mean, it's possible, but I think then Fanatics' purchase price of that IP would have to go down too, because they're paying so much to get that exclusivity, I would suspect. So again, that I just circled the long way around of saying, who knows? Yeah. But my pie in the sky, just like EP, is it's a free-for-all Wild West where everyone can make cards again, licensed cards. But chances are, I think it's just to leverage a position.
I don't think that's going to happen. Like, again, I've been saying from the beginning, you can't force a company to license their intellectual property to another company. If a company wants to exclusively license it, they have to be able to. Like, if they would try to come up with any kind of like resolution that said, oh, they have to let other people, all those leagues would be automatically suing to stop that. Like, it would just, like, I don't see any world where they can force a company to do anything with the rights. Like, they own the rights completely, so they can't be forced to do that. I think maybe I'm kind of feeling like a win for Panini would probably be the court saying, okay, terms can only be this long and you have to renegotiate them after that point in time. That seems most logical to me. Like, I feel like the ship's kind of sailed for Fanatics to buy Panini. Like, they don't need to. Why would they're going to have everything. They're starting with basketball in October and football early next year. What do you need the Panini names for now?
The reason that they wouldn't need it is for the collectors' benefit, which we know they don't give a shit about that.
But the collectors are going to buy what they put out.
They will, but the collectors are going to miss National Treasures. Collectors are going to miss Flawless and Prism and a lot of those like core sets that they've been used to for the last 10 years.
Stuff.
They'll buy other stuff. They will, for sure.
Honestly, they will forget about those brands in a year or two. It's on to the next thing. We
didn't forget about Topps Chrome.
Topps Chrome.
Everybody else did.
Well, that's because Topps
Chrome.
Topps Chrome existed in baseball, so it actually,
that's true, yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like that maybe that. Yeah. So I wrote down Fanatics life sentence at one point. It was like that. So I was going to ask if we thought that maybe there are people in the hobby for sure that the 20 years, like, they are going to be stuck with Fanatics until they are either done collecting and or they're pass away. Like, the bottom line, the 20 years
again, is a long time. Every week with this guy.
Look, I'm just being realistic.
Your new nickname is Mr. Morbid Epay. Mr. Morbid Epay. There it is.
So like, the 20 years is a long time. Joe, you keep talking about it a lot, but it is 20 years is a long time. And I think I agree that a win from Panini might be just to say term limits can be 5 years, 3 years, something like that. That would be definitely a thing. And that would the Panini sale, I agree with you, Mike, that like there's no reason for them to do it. They could buy Prism, but they already have Topps Chrome. They already have Finest, so they don't need Optic. Like, they have. I feel like they have it there. So, but the thing is, if they were to buy Panini, would that, in your mind, Mike, would that then become would the monopoly term then come into play? Because those are two huge players in the industry. Would that be a monopoly, or would that still not be a monopoly?
I don't think they would buy. Let me clarify my position. I don't think they would buy Panini. I think they would buy the IP that Panini has, that they're producing specific brands of cards, like Prism, like National Treasures, things like that.
You don't think they want to own that the European sticker market, like all that sort of stuff as well?
Oh, I'm sure they do, but I don't think Panini wants to sell that one.
Okay.
I think they want to keep that one because that's where they're making their money.
At the same time, why would Panini want to get rid of their IPs that they can use for those other big markets? Like, I could be totally wrong. I'm just a guy on a podcast giving an opinion, but like, they put so much time into the Topps line, and they've kind of, we'll talk a little bit later too about Mike Bayan being interviewed by Jeff Wilson, but he was talking about product segmentation. So like, they've really spent time like building where their products are going to be, and their plan is to just pretty much do the same thing across all the sports. So like where would a Prism fit into it when you already have Topps Chrome and Topps Finest? Like, they have the designs. I'm sure it's a lot easier to have a design for a Topps Chrome and use something similar for basketball and then football and baseball than to have to start over. I don't see the benefit for what they would probably have to end up paying. So I really do think if Panini would win, it might be the shortening of term limits. I don't know if that's legally
that would be
possible. I feel like it could be, but I have no idea. I'm not aware.
That would be great for Panini. That would be a big win. I think that would be a bigger win than selling, because they'd at least have a chance. They could start putting their other stuff together prove that they can make money with that. WNBA, for example, that's actually a reason they might not. Actually, maybe that is a reason they might buy Panini. Now that I'm thinking out loud, maybe Fanatics wouldn't mind having the WNBA license. I mean, there's some other stuff there too.
Bid for
They'll just buy it. They'll just buy it in a couple of years
Yeah.
anyway. But a shortening of those contracts would be a win for Panini for sure. I didn't even think about that one. So yeah, that's probably the end game.
I also feel like shortening the contracts. I mean, again, pie in the sky. I'm Mr. Hopeful. Like shortening the contracts also.
Mr. Morbid / Mr. Hopeful down there.
You can be both,
Okay.
But I feel like you can you could see again a path to potentially multiple licenses for multiple companies if we get rid of that 20-year thing. Mike, I know you're shaking your head, and I know I'm reaching for this, but I would love to see that happen again. And if you limit,
I would love to see it too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I think Fanatics would get out of the card business if that was a thing. Like, I don't know if Fanatics would say, "Hey, we're only staying here," similar to their jerseys and all that stuff and apparel that they sell. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, "Whoa, if we're not the only show in town and we can take everyone's money." I don't know if we want to do that, which, by the way, as I'm describing it, sounds like a monopoly, but they want everyone's money. They don't want to have to compete for that. Again, sounds like a monopoly, but it legally probably isn't. So, like, I don't
They're not
think
making
they would
Cheers cards, Joe.
Yeah. Thank God for Rittenhouse. Thank God for Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse, though.
Yeah. If Star Trek or Cheers or any of those get bought by Fanatics, I'm like, oh God, end it now. But, I know it would be brutal, EP. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think they want to be the only show in town. They've proved that with the length of these contracts. So, and to your point, they've already got Topps Chrome. They've already got Finest. Why would they want Prism? Maybe they want a nice looking card. I don't know. Topps Chrome looks pretty shitty this year.
Listen,
Topps Chrome looks horrendous. Finest looks even worse.
I agree.
Football ones.
Oh no, I agree 100% that what they put out recently are bad, and hopefully they're just like mailing it in. Hopefully things improve once they get the license. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
They're just money grabbing now, and hopefully they'll improve in a year or two.
I mean, again, Mr. Hopeful. But if you think back to like what Mike said about the segmentation, like when you think back to back in the days, like 1999 Finest, they had the same design for basketball, football, and baseball, and that was an amazing card. So like if they can do it, if they can actually pull it off, and they actually get collectors in there and telling them what collectors want, and they start to create cool looking cards. I look forward to having all the sports available in those different lines.
Yeah, I think you'll see a Topps Chrome that looks more like the baseball design from that year for football and basketball. I would imagine.
Do you think they
look rough? It has looked really, really rough. I watched a bunch of breaks, and I hope this is just a mail it in situation, EP, because if it's like this going forward, not that I'm buying it anyway, so I'm not the target market, but yeah.
But is it maybe also like, I think we were talking about some of the weird designs on some of the cards. Do you think they're I think it was Finest maybe had like this the weird like melting basketballs or something like that, and some of the NBA stuff, and I wonder if they're putting that stuff in there to distract from not having the licenses, and so maybe they get back to some of the more like prestige type, like the stuff that we love back in the day once they actually have the licenses. That fingers crossed again.
Mr. Morbid / Hopeful down there.
Well, I hope he's right about that. So, okay. Well, I'm going to go into a little bit more Fanatics news. They introduced their Instant Rips repacks. We talked about this on a podcast a little while ago. I don't know. Like, we lose track of time here. I don't know if it was a year ago or a week ago, but yeah, there were rumors going around they were going to start their own repack business, and they actually launched it this past week. They are starting off with the Odyssey series, which is 1,000 different repacks at $250 each. It's $250,000 for those counting at home. The prices of the cards range from $90 to $3,800 are the top end. They have checklists for them. I guess they're working on like an evolving checklist, so as cards are pulled from it, people know what are still left in there to buy, which is interesting and would be a very welcomed addition to repacking. But interesting thing, we talk about Topps and breakers and, maybe too much product going to breakers. These are being sold, unless I have something wrong here, but from my information trying to research this, I believe these are all being sold by the breakers on Fanatics Live. I can't go to Topps website and buy a pack of these for myself. I have to go to Fanatics Live, find a show where they're offering these for the breakers to use, and you can buy a pack in the break with the rest of the people watching, and the breaker will open up the digital pack for you, and then the card will automatically go into your vault at Fanatics.
Which you can then sell back to Fanatics.
No, then you can put it for sale on Fanatics Collect. They're not, unless I have something wrong, but they're not offering you money to sell it right away.
Buybacks.
Like some of those others, it seems like you can then sell it.
But
I mean, as somebody who I would consider buying one of these for content, like I thought maybe I would be interested in doing that. But if I can't just go to a website and buy it myself, I'm not going through Fanatics Live and a breaker and have to go in and buy it in a break and wait for the breaker to break it and watch everybody else cheer me on. Like, I don't want that. Maybe it's just because I'm an old guy. I totally understand. I might be out of touch with stuff, but I don't want that. But I feel like here's more for breakers. You're clearly doing all of this for breakers. And the only way collectors could be part of it is if they become part of a break and they make an account on your Fanatics Live app and they get into a break and they buy on it.
I'm going to let EP handle this one. I just want to say before we continue, I cannot wait to read any comment from Ziggy. Ziggy, we love you. We know how much you love breaking, but we also know how much you hate repacks. So this has to be like in Ziggy's head right now, right? Fighting with each other.
He can make some money. I'll change his mind if he can make money.
Sorry.
And I'm allowed to have my opinion that I want to be able to buy these just directly and not have to go through a break. I'm allowed to have that opinion. Don't even argue it. Sorry. Go ahead.
I too would purchase one of these. Like, I would take a shot just because, like, I think it's an interesting concept, but the fact that this is all about the breaker ecosystem is very frustrating to me. Like the breaker, like the communities. Look, I've said before, I feel like there are a lot of collectors out there right now that never had what we had, where we had our cheers level of walking into a card shop and everybody knows your name and we're all friends. We're all play fantasy football together. There are people that don't have access to that. I've never had access to that. And breaking is their community. Breaking is their thing. That how they have friends in the hobby are the people that we're
not yucking their yum.
No, definitely not. These people have their messages. They are like, they know who goes after the Vince Carter cards. They know who goes after, the CJ Stroud cards. Like they know each other. Those are their friends in the hobby. And I would never want to take that away from them. And I'm glad that exists for them. But for people like us, it is very, very clear to me that the Fanatics does not want us collectors opening boxes. They want breakers opening boxes because they can make more money off of that, because they can charge more money and the breakers can make money, and it creates the ecosystem, which again will help them fuel the repacks. I'm sure, like I said, you can't sell the Fanatics. That's coming. That is definitely a bullet point in a plan somewhere down the line. Maybe not right now because it's just launching, but that is definitely coming down the line. The fact that it's like an e-pack, that you're watching a breaker open a digital pack for you, like that just blows my mind. I can't. Like we've got this meshing,
but
of
you
NFTs.
Instantly own the card, EP, and it goes instantly into your vault. It's kind of like having it in your hand.
It's kind of like having an NFT, and eventually, Mike, I think you were the one that said this. Eventually, it's going to get to that fact where breakers going to break NFTs, and the NFTs are the only things that are going to be transacted. And there's like if you think about it, the vaulting system, all the vaults we're already at that point with those, where people are buying and selling these cards, and they're just moving them back and forth in these vaults, and it's not like you're just collecting. I guess money. You're collecting digital copies of these cards. It's a little overwhelming for me. Like I don't like it at all.
ecosystem is the breaker ecosystem is a really great way to describe this. And I will say that I don't know if they'll do the buyback, only because you can sell them on Fanatics Collect. I wonder if Fanatics will get any money from that.
Here's the thing. They already have people buying, though. So like they have people buying from PSA and buying at card shows and stuff. So even though you may not technically be selling them back to Fanatics, I'm sure certain cards, if you choose to list them on Fanatics, you'll get an offer from the people that are buying from them. So in a way, it's kind of a buyback, but it's not a buyback
officially from the And beyond that, if you sell them on Fanatics Collect, Fanatics is going to get a taste of that too. I mean, they're going to get the percentages for buyers, premium seller, whatever. So they're going to get a taste of that side of it. You know, compared to other repacks, this is probably the safest one, right?
Yeah.
There's a
revolving
checklist or evolving. I'm sorry. There's an evolving checklist. So you know if the big hit has been hit. I mean, I'd like to see some forensic accounting go in there and make sure that it's not shell gaming. So that
trust me.
Trust me. I'm sure it'll all be fine. That being said, if it is all on the up and up, really big but if it is all on the up and up, this is probably the best way to break, or I'm sorry, the best way for repacks. Having the breakers involved, though, along the same lines of EP, it's just like it's like when you have multiple children and you clearly have a favorite and everyone can see it. Michael Rubin's favorite child right now is breaking. And you have to be on Fanatics Collect. You have to go through them to get one of these repacks. And he's not even like hiding it anymore. Like that 40% number or whatever it was, that's going to be way higher of a percentage going towards breakers as Fanatics continues on. And for me, it's not for me. It's not, you guys are interested, but you'd have to go find a breaker. And what's that? That's Michael Rubin trying to get someone to go to a breaker so they get hooked on breaking. It's all about, maybe you got a good card on this. Maybe this breaker is really, really good. I'm going to start using this breaker. And I know our buddy Dane from Dynasty Breaks, he's a breaker. He seems like one of the good ones. Not everyone is a good one, so you go out there and you're gonna get hooked, and it becomes an addiction. And all of a sudden you went to try to get one repack because you wanted to try this product, and now all of a sudden you're breaking every single night.
You're selling your house.
You're selling your house. You're putting a mortgage, second mortgage down, things like that. So this is another way to get people through the door. It's another gateway drug to get people into that ecosystem of breaking. They
do a lot to send regular collectors to Fanatics Live. So, I mean, it's very clear that is a priority to them. And I'm sorry, it's just like the sports book, they give free offers for bets and, guaranteed wins and stuff like that. They know this is gambling. Like, let's just be real. This is gambling. They know it's gambling. That's why
Repacks is the biggest.
Yeah, that's why they give you comps. That's why they're sending everybody there, because they know that's a revenue stream that's probably not going to go away, because once you get the itch, got to keep scratching it. So
I only got a $50 card on this one. The next one, I could get the $3,000 card. I mean, it's possible, right? Or you could just save all your money and just buy a card you want. But that's the problem. The people buying these aren't buying cards they want. They're buying cards that they hope they can sell.
That make a profit.
I bet you there is I am 99% sure there's a spreadsheet on computers in Fanatics that shows you how much we make off of breaking and how much we make off of selling boxes and all that sort of stuff. And there's probably projections also for the breaking side of it. And the number has to be astronomical, right? Compared to everything else, just because there are so many opportunities for them to make so much money off the breakers. So from a business perspective, that's why they're doing it. And it makes sense. But for the collectors, it's, again, we talked about this. It feels like every week, like the collectors are the ones that are losing out because of what's happening.
And all the time we talk about how Fanatics is finding another way to take a little bit of cut of a product. They made the product, then they sold it, the breakers, but then the breakers are breaking on their platform. So they're going to get another little taste of it there. And then they're going to let people sell it on Fanatics Collect, and they're going to get a little taste there, and they're going to buy it back from them, put them into a repacks. Then they're going to get another little taste. Like it's actually like amazingly deviantly brilliant how they have been able to extend the chain of what they can make money on. And pretty soon it's just going to be one big constant loop that they're just it's going to keep like a train rolling down the tracks, keep rolling. They're going to just make money at every point along the way.
It's a snake eating its own tail, man. They're just kind of constantly do it. And that's why I'm still kind of surprised that they don't have some sort of grading portion yet. Like, that kind of shocks me a little bit. But to those people who defend breaking, and Mike, you've been in breaks. I kind of sort of been in a break.
I enjoy them. Like, yeah, I have nothing against breaking. I see it for what it is, and exactly. I can do this once in a while because I want to without getting hooked. But I know there are other people that struggle with that.
And there's the point, right? You know exactly what it is. You know what you're getting into. This is not, as some people say, this is not, oh, remember the days when like 12 people would just get together and buy a case and like open it up and it'd be not fun bad. And they all pitch in. It's not that anymore. And anyone who says otherwise is just lying, or they are dumb. I mean, like,
or they own a
willfully ignorant, or they're willfully ignorant. And we did the Cheers break last week. Guess what? How much money I made? Nothing. I actually lost money.
I gave you $1 tip.
You did. So I think I made $1. But between the shipping and all of that, I ended up losing money on this break with the giveaways and things. That's how it used to be, though. Everyone would just pitch in, they'd buy a box, and they'd open it up for fun. That is not what breaking is. Stop saying it and stop using that as a reference point. That the year of our Lord 2025, that is not what breaking is.
No,
period.
I feel like also one thing we haven't talked about is how many repacks are they going to force the breakers to take? Like they're definitely going to say, if you're going to get our product, you also need to take some of our repacks, right? Like that's part of their thing. Like they've always done that with other products.
Well, like they're forcing breakers to take a lot of stuff that they normally didn't. I saw Leighton. I texted you guys this, and thank you for reminding me, EP. I saw Leighton breaking X-Men 97. Leighton Sports. Yeah. Breaking X-Men 97. Not on their second channel where they do Pokemon and stuff like that. No, their main channel, they were breaking X-Men 97. That I've never seen them break an Upper Deck Marvel product. You know why? Because Upper Deck didn't own enough of the hobby to force them to open up Fleer Ultra Wolverine, right? So and I just sent you guys this a few weeks ago now, the repack actual packs, the consolidation packs that Silver Sport buys. Their distributor said, oh, we have to send you Fanatics supplies now. Remember when Fanatics was getting into supplies? Mm-hmm. They used to send card shells or Ultra Pro. No, we have to send you. If we're going to get a distribution from Fanatics, we have to use Fanatics supplies. They are forcing people to use these products. Again, they're not a monopoly. Sure as hell sounds like they are, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, they are, and they're going to do that. I mean, that's always kind of been a thing, though, in the hobby. And Topps was always that way, too. If you bought direct in the 90s, you had to buy what they were putting out. They were one of the strictest with it. That's why I never had a Topps account, because I couldn't afford to buy everything they put out by the case. Little later in the 90s and stuff like that, I bought direct from Upper Deck, and I could pick and choose what I wanted to order. That's why I liked about Pinnacle. I could pick and choose what I wanted to order from them. But Topps was always, we make it, you want to have a direct account. And it's only worse now, because now it's a much bigger level, way more money investment. But yeah, you want to break on our channel here, you're going to buy our product and you're going to break our product. And I mean, apparently, that's just how it goes.
Apparently Rittenhouse too is very strict, from what I've heard from some folks, that, if you have an account, because I was like kind of jokingly thinking out loud. I'm like, I mean, if I had a direct
bet you
account,
were.
I could just buy Star Trek stuff and then put that, do some breaks or whatever, the Cheers thing, and pick and choose. And my buddy was like, no, you have to get everything. So I'd have like 12 cases of Foundation, which again, I don't know what that even is. So, but yeah, and they probably have to, Mike, at this point, like the small companies have to, because they need to make sure they sell everything, because, these larger companies kind of gobbling things up, money up,
Oh, I'm glad you went with the gobbling money up, because Topps, this is a shocker to me. They're coming out with Topps Gold Logoman patch cards. We had no idea that they would ever expand these special, like the MLB debut patches, into other stuff. Like, we have not talked about that at all, have we?
Nope.
Or have we, like, every single week for like the last month? But they are now going, the players that won the major 2024 awards are going to be wearing patches with a gold logo on it the whole season, not just one game. Players like Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Chris Sale, Paul Skeens is going to have one too. They are going to be wearing them all year. Fanatics is going to be selling replica jerseys with the patches on, and 10 of each of the players' patches will be used for cards. That's all they've given about it. So these are not going to be just one of them in existence. They're going to have 10 for each of them. They have not announced how they're going to divvy them up. I'm guessing they're going to be probably a lot of one-on-one chases in their higher end, hopefully some in the lower end too. I feel like this would be cool to throw one of those in a regular top set. They won't, but it would be cool to do that. But yeah, a little different thing, although we've all kind of seen this coming from a mile away. Let's be real.
I was gonna text you guys and comment, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna save it for the pod. At what point do they just look like NASCAR racers out there playing baseball? Like, at what point do they have
everywhere
so many patches all over themselves so Fanatics can make one-on-one cards? Again, we're not surprised by this. We knew they bastardized this really, really good idea. Here we are. At least the players are still playing. I'm still waiting for those, like Ken Griffey Jr. debut patch cards that he keep teasing. I'm still waiting for those. But I mean, in and of itself, it's kind of cool. It's probably going to be a 1-on-1. The patches look pretty nice. They're not for us though. They might throw a bone to Topps, flagship. Maybe they'll put one of them in there. Just start pouring like right next to my head. Oh Jesus.
We're in Pennsylvania. There's big thunderstorms today. So.
Yeah. So maybe they'll throw a bone to flagship or something like that. But yeah, again, they had one good idea and they're like, let's just squeeze the juice out of this idea as hard as we can, because we can't come up with anything else. So here we are.
I have things that I dislike about this, and I'll get to this in a second. But I like to play the foil to Joe. That's kind of my role sometimes on the show.
The foil to common sense, as we like to call it.
The one thing,
or the defense of Fanatics.
The one thing this does, and this is doing potentially, is it is giving juice back to game worn material. So I think that is something that we've talked about. Like, game worn is important, and this is kind of like giving that back. So that is the one positive here. I also like that they are riffing on this thing, a really cool idea. One of the things I don't like is there's potentially going to be 162 of these, because there's 162 games. I could see them doing one for every game, and they're only releasing 10 on cards for now. And I feel like my concern is that, well, as much as we love the rookie debut patch for this, it is this new on top of the pedestal type of card. Like, they're already taking it and watering it down with 10 cards, 10 from each player. And I realize that 10 is still limited, but you can totally see the devolvement of this this product, this card, going from 10. Oh, well, next year there's 50. All of a sudden there's 162, and in a few years, as they start producing more and printing more and more and more and more cards, like all of a sudden, well, these are out of 162 now. You have a better chance of getting them, and so that's my one of my biggest concerns.
Hold on a second, EP. I do want to comment how you have used every word possible to basically say what I've been saying. They're going to bastardize it. Let's just use the word. They're they're like overproduction, no, bastardizing. That's what they're doing to this product. And don't skip over. You mentioned, I want to stop you at your one point about the relic thing, how they're bringing relics, making them more game worn, making them more chaseable.
Right.
Or it's just distracting from the fact that nothing else is, right? Like that's kind of a problem too. Like, yes, these 10 things are awesome, or however many they end up making. That's awesome, but then 99% of all the other relics are no association to a game or event. So it's like,
Topps does more game worn stuff. They like, even when I bought the case back in 2023, there was a lot of game worn stuff in there. Like,
he guaranteed everything to be game worn.
It's not. You're always twisting. You're always taking the words. You're twisting and twisting. No, like they've done a lot of game worn stuff, but I feel like one of the issues is like a lot of this hobby, because a lot of the Panini stuff, they're looking at, they don't care. A lot of hobby doesn't care. But maybe this shines a light on game worn stuff and makes it a little more interesting and makes it a little more like valuable and something people are a little more excited about. So that's all I'm saying with it. I'm not saying that it is going to work. I'm just saying that you need to shine a spotlight on that stuff and maybe hopefully it can.
Well, that's not the only patches they're going to make.
Huh.
Believe it or not. And I mean, everybody saw this coming from a mile away, but Mike Mann, like I mentioned earlier, was on Jeff Wilson's show. He did an interview with him. Jeff did a pretty good job in this interview too, asking some good questions. I've been critical of some of the interviews he's done before, but I think this one was really good. It's pretty short. It's like 20-25 minutes total. If you haven't, go check it out. It's on the Jeff Wilson show videos channel. So yeah, he did a good job in this one, but Mike Mann made the announcement on there. He confirmed that they are going to have rookie debut patches for basketball and football. They get the basketball license starting in October. So Cooper Flag comes out. He's going to be a big player for them to put these on. That'll be a big card. But yeah, I mean, I have no problem with this. We've talked about this. We've been hoping for this. So I do like this idea. I'm glad they're going to continue it in other sports. Joe can call the gold ones bastardizing the idea. That's fine. Fair enough. But this I like.
I've liked it from the jump too. Like I've always said, I've never not liked the debut patches.
Yeah.
I was just worried the direction they would go, which
they're going to get worse. Those
again, proven right
again
again about Fanatics bullshit. I think I'm undefeated with Fanatics bullshit. But I've been hoping that they were going to do the football one specifically because I think they'd be really cool. Again, we have no chance of owning them. But could you imagine how excited I would have been if Kenny Pickett had a debut? I think that would have been really, really neat. Though he did throw 3 interceptions in that debut game, but that's besides the point. I'm curious, like if they stick to it's going to be one time, they're going to wear it once. That's going to be the one card. Or if they saw the success of it in the baseball side, maybe they have 16 of them and it's their debut season. I don't know.
He specifically mentioned in their first game they'll be wearing the patch, so it'll be just like the baseball. So
okay, that's good.
Don't get too far ahead of yourself with that.
Yeah, that'll be next year.
Yeah, we'll wait until they add all the others for the retired players to really go off on it.
But that said, though, like they're going to have the gold logo patches for football and basketball too, right? Like the NBA logo and the NFL logo, they're going to have Logo Man cards for that as well. Like they're totally going to do that, and again, you're going to see that continue. And look, it's going to multiply, right? Like every year, they're going to be more and more of these patches. The weird thing is, like, I keep thinking about these as like manufactured patches, and they're game worn, but they feel a little bit fake. Like the game worn jersey with like with some dirt on it and like a part of the number feels more authentic. Where these are like manufactured relics, but they're
manufacturing something that isn't normally on the jersey.
Right. Yeah.
It's putting it on the jersey. Yeah. I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
A lot of people love the manufactured stuff, and I'm okay with them. Like typically I'll sell them because people like to buy them. So I'm not saying that they're bad. I just
because they look cool.
They do usually do look cool.
And that's the whole point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's always been my problem with the not from any specific game or event thing. Just give us a cool piece of jersey. Like, don't give us a napkin swatch or patch or whatever. Give us just a cool thing, because if they're as real or fake as anything else you're putting out, what's it matter? The one thing
especially Fanatics, because they can just create a bunch of patches.
So
right?
that's we gloss over this, and Mike, you did mention it. They're making replica jerseys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Snake eating its own tail. Fanatics is like, oh, we're going to have these cards. Now you can also buy the replica jersey with these patches on. It's all about the money, baby. And they are really good at making it. So they're going to make these replica jerseys, which I'm sure will have no quality control issues. I'm sure they will be 100% beautiful.
And no scammers will cut the patches out of them and try to attach them to other cards.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think that. Stop giving people ideas, EP. But yeah, that's again, they're like, well, we can market this thing. And while we're marketing this thing, guess what we can do? We can market this other thing. No corporate synergy. Good job, Fanatics. It's nice to see the little guy moving on up.
EP with a little bit of a joke there, but how many of the replica jerseys are they going to buy for people that are going to create custom cards?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. Custom cards for sure.
More stuff that Mike Mann talked about in that interview I thought was interesting. He did talk about having consistency through their lines, which, I mean, back in the 90s, it was the same way. Topps Chrome and baseball and basketball and football would have not the same design, but similar. They would have some similar inserts, maybe a couple different for the football or basketball, but they're intending on doing that, which I think will kind of be cool. I think that'll help, build the brand up. But one of the things he brought up was they want to make insert cards more important, because Jeff Wilson actually asked him about the number of parallels, and even brought up the fact that he knows that the increased number of parallels is because of the increased production and wanting people to be able to get stuff, which great job to Jeff.
Is Jeff watching our podcast?
He might be. That's great.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing? But yeah, they want to make inserts more important, and they want to, focus on the inserts having meaning, and they want to create their list of which ones are going to be the most important. So we've talked about it a lot. I've said it, make inserts worth something again. I would still like to see a little more innovation in the design and the way they do that. But first things first, if you can make them more important, then maybe you can change the way they look and make them better. I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll surprise me. I doubt it. But I did like that they're going to concentrate on inserts, and they're trying to develop ones that they want to be the more important inserts to be pulled out of sets.
I mean, say what you will about Panini, and EP says a lot, but say what you will about Panini. The one thing that they have done better than any other company has done in the history of cards in a long time is making case hits a thing. Even back in the day, Mike, with PMGs, they were in your 50% off box. It wasn't like people were like, oh, let's get this PMG or let's get this insert or that insert. Like, they have made inserts such a big deal. And to the point where some of them actually look cool. I sent you a picture of one that Ed pulled on Silver Sport. It was Fire and Ice, Michael Penix card. It was a case hit. Really, really cool card. The stained glass people like they have done a really good job of that. And so kudos to them. Topps does need to do something like that, because not everything, and I say this in front of a wall full of autographs, not everything needs to be autographs. Like and I'm going to throw Rittenhouse. If Rittenhouse had really, really cool case hits, I'd be like the downtown equivalent or Kaboom equivalent in some of their products. I think they would be up on my wall as well. There needs to be a more concerted effort to do that. I'm glad Topps is acknowledging, Fanatics is acknowledging they need to do that. They've tried in the past, and the home field one, for example, kind of fell flat. I think people were so used to how downtowns look that the home field ones were not as exciting to them, but hopefully they
kind of looked like
something.
a knockoff.
They were 100%. It was like the Kirkland brand downtown, right? So, like, I mean, hopefully that they take that to heart, because, again, if people are just chasing autos, you're going to be disappointed with the autos most of the time.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I think even like recently, like last week or the week before, about kabooms and how they don't have a kaboom. And kaboom is like we talked about them, like they're not our most favorite card ever, but these kabooms go across all the Panini lines. People love them, and they chase after them. And I feel like first thing I wrote down when I was taking my notes on this topic was the Pinnacle Epics. Remember these? Like they had them over multiple products and the multiple levels, I think, of different colors or stuff like that. Like if they did that, something like that with across all three sports, that'd be cool. Like Skybox Autographics did that. They did autographics, like they had a line of autographics and all the different.
The triumvirates were across all the sports,
right? From Stadium Club, yeah. So I mean, like that. So there is reason to be excited. Again, I'm going to say we need to make sure that we have people designing these things that make good designs. Like they can't be mailed in. Like they can't half-ass the design. If they whole-ass the design, I'm in 100%. I would love to be able to collect, like Joe said, the triumvirates across the whole board with my favorite.
And they still make them, but they don't look anywhere near as good.
No,
from my
the
understanding.
triumvirates were just Stadium Club, though.
Yeah,
they weren't.
But they were across all the different state. Didn't they have baseball stadium club triumvirates? They had
they had them in the different sports.
That's what I mean. They would be across all the kind of like downtowns are Donruss and Donruss Optic. Like it's that specific to them. I think it'd be cool if you have specific ones to every stadium club, like the triumvirates, or every flagship, or every chrome. There's like that chase.
All right. Well, I got a couple updates on some other stories that we've been running these last few weeks. The Victor Wembanyama jersey lawsuit, the boy with the jersey swap. And then the dad's like, oh, no, we weren't trying to sell this.
Please, I'm praying for the kid and the dad. I'm praying because they're such big fans.
I know.
I'm just, oh, God, please. Okay.
The lawsuit was dropped.
What? What?
So apparently the kid must have changed his mind again. That
Again?
He actually wanted the money. I don't know. I mean, clearly this is all the kids doing. I even listened to, I think it was Sports Card Madness or something, had the dad was talking to him, and I don't know. I heard his story and heard his side of it, but ended up dropping the lawsuit. Joe,
guys, this is a serious one.
Okay,
you look serious. So
I'm very, very concerned of what might have happened. The lawsuit was moving forward. Pretty sure Ken Golden sent like bad people.
I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen.
And have, insert sarcasm here, may have made some noise about it.
No, that didn't happen.
No, are we
going
sure?
To clearly state that that did not happen.
There's no way it didn't happen, though, Mike. I'm like, I don't know.
Nope.
It did not actually happen. For those of you who are dumb enough to think that wasn't
satire and parody that Joe's doing
right.
over there. None of this is true.
I like the word you used, like story. The guy's story about the whole thing. Like, because I mean,
listened to it. Yeah,
I didn't listen to it, but I can imagine what it sounded like. I can fill in the blanks.
Ziggy told me he was on there, and like I had to listen to it because he told me to. Like he sends me an Instagram message saying that I have to listen to it. I have to listen to it. That's what I do.
And so. I'm sure that as long as he got whatever the best result for his child was, and that's I'm sure what he cared about the most, right? Had nothing to do with anything but the love of his child, and we have to commend that, right?
Did a great job for that. Yes, getting him the $80,000 for that. Yeah. Another update. Another lawsuit was settled. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Fanatics have settled their lawsuit after over a whole season.
So here's what I think happened, guys. Michael Rubin said, nope. Okay, I won't do it again.
Did that happen? No. I mean, that might have happened, but it didn't happen.
Hey!
I'm joking. We are a parody podcast.
Kid here. We're kidding. When the hat comes on, chances are it's a joke, people.
But yeah, finally they have settled the lawsuit. There were no terms given for the settlement, but they expect Marvin Harrison Jr. products to be available from Fanatics in the very near future.
Who signed the contract, though? Who, when the lawsuit was over, who agreed to this? Because there could be another lawsuit where Marvin Jr. is suing Marvin Sr. because he did not agree to any of this. What a weird family. They are such a weird fucking family.
I mean, what would have happened if Marvin Harrison Jr. actually had a standout season? Like if he would have went like bonkers this year, like would this have been?
They wouldn't have settled if he would have had a better year.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting though, like to that point though, EP, like how valuable will his second year autos be? Fanatics and Panini will just make whoever has I guess it's Fanatics has the exclusive. Yeah, they're gonna have rookie cards coming out for him, right? At some point. Maybe a top instance we settled the lawsuit Topps what's it called? Topps Now card. We settled the lawsuit Topps Now. Like that would be great. Them coming out of the courtroom, autograph, chase. Fantastic.
So there's probably like there's a chance that in 2026 we get 2023, 2024, and 2025 products from Topps with rookie cards, licensed rookie cards, right? Mm-hmm. Like it would not be.
I've been saying that for a while. EP. This is not news.
But I'm saying like if in that same year, if we get all of those years like together combined, rookie cards of all those players, I can totally see them doing that, right? Like they're like
all they have to do is call it archives if they're set.
Yeah.
Well, I have another. I'm sorry to interrupt you here.
No, that's fine.
We talked last week about the Cheeto-Zard that sold for like $70,000, right?
Was on
there's another auction. Golden Auctions now has the Cheetos Michael Jordan Jumpman shaped Cheeto running on auction.
I have to look this up.
I'm gonna say
talk amongst yourselves.
It's taking a little bit of liberty. You know how some pieces of art you really have to use your own imagination to see what the artist is saying is there. I kind of feel that way a little bit with the Jumpman one, but
I don't know. Kind of looks like Bill Russell. It kind of looks more like Bill Russell, to be honest. So I don't see Jordan. I see Bill Russell. Maybe Larry Bird. I don't know. I don't get Jordan out of that though. I don't know.
Like Charizard is
it does look like someone dunking though. I will say that. It wildly looks like someone about to dunk. It really
to look it up. But Charizard is like a lump kind of like, I mean, it's a cool character, but like a lot of he's portrayed as like a kind of a lump. So you can see it being made in a Cheeto, but like I'm trying to picture what this Michael Jordan Cheeto looks like. And I can't wrap my head. I just can't picture a Cheeto looking like it. But if Joe says it does, then it must.
It looks like someone dunking. Now I'm not going to go so far as to say it specifically looks like Jordan, but it does look like
he has a tail too.
That's his second leg, I think.
So are people?
Oh no, he has a tail.
Are people taking Cheetos and like shaving them to?
I already said that last week, EP, or 2 weeks ago. Yes, clearly people are gonna. They saw this Charizard thing and they're definitely doing it.
I have an idea that
we should start
totally stole from a random poster on Twitter that actually came up with the idea. It's all marketing by Cheetos, by Frito-Lay.
Oh,
they're creating these things on purpose, sending them to auction and bidding them up and buying them at these higher prices. What the Charizard was $70-some thousand. What kind of that's not all that much money for marketing and promotion for what they got out of it. Thank you, Joe. Yeah.
Trying to put that on.
I feel like this is just something they're creating. Again, totally stole this idea from somebody off Twitter. Wish I would have written their name down, but I read it and I was like, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So
it'd be pretty brilliant too, right? Like it'd be a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Wow. Why else are we getting Cheeto? Like, people are buying many bags of these, just ripping them open and looking through them. I saw Cheetos breaks online somewhere.
I'm not sure if you're joking or not.
I don't think I'm joking. I saw it. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a joke. Maybe it was. Maybe
nothing in this world. Nothing in this world could be just taken at face value as a joke or not anymore. So who knows? It's completely possible.
Really can.
How do you sell that? How do you sell the Cheetos break? Like what's the like what's the
I think it was more just people doing videos of them like dumping bags in and going through it. But
now I could go for some Cheetos. I love me some Cheetos.
I can't do the flaming hot. EP probably could.
Oh yeah,
EP loves the flaming hot, guarantee.
Cheetos are good though. Oh man,
they are really good.
All right, I have one more story before we wrap things up here. There is on auction right now with a bid of over $35,000 a 1952 Mickey Mantle card that is PSA graded authentic.
Okay.
This is, I think, about $15,000 more than a PSA 1 would sell for. The card looks very nice on the front. Nice, pretty well centered. It's probably like PSA 5-ish looking on the front. But when you turn it over, it was clearly glued into something at some point, and half of the back is ripped off. I bring this up because people are buying the card, not the grade. I was kind of encouraged by the fact that this, and it's still on auction. It hasn't ended yet, so that's not a final price. It's just at $35,000. But you have a card that presents beautifully on the front that if you look at on the back, it is just a wreck, but the front of the card is beautiful. And if you have that card sitting somewhere and you're looking at it, it looks absolutely as nice as any PSA 5 you would buy. For a lot less money, I think it's kind of great. Isn't this a good sign for a hobby that there are still, little parts of it
I'm gonna have to poop on it now. Damn it!
Something that looks good can act. People are buying the card based on what it looks like on the front, not what it looks like on the back or what a grade would be.
I love your optimism, and I hope that is true. Because that is awesome. It means someone's actually displaying cards too, which is something all of us do. We like to display cards. So hopefully that is the case, that they're buying this. Because if you're going to buy a card like that looks that good on the front, you probably want people to look at it. You probably want people to see it. So that is awesome. I will say, as you're describing it, I'm like, ooh, was it stuck in an open box of 1992 masterpieces, Marvel masterpieces? Because if
it was the top card.
Yeah, it was the top card, man. It just... I will say, though, there is another possibility of why this is going as high as it is, and that's someone trying to make the full collection of grades, right? So like a registry, we've talked about this. I think Nat Turner himself is trying to get a Mickey Mantle from authentic all the way up to PSA 10, like a legit authentic, not one that they sent in to be authenticated versus having a grade on it. So I hope it's your theory. But I also wouldn't be surprised if it was someone trying to complete a run. As silly as I think those are, people actually do them. We talked about the Ken Griffey Jr. PSA 1s going for way more than a 7 or an 8 because of that whole reason. So hopefully that's not it, but it could be a possibility as well.
Yeah, I'm going to stay on the hopeful side again here. I really think, I hope it's a collector, of course. I feel like it's probably a collector. The thing about this is, like, this is one of the uniquest probably mantles out there because of the back. How many of them were glued in? How many of them got graded authentic? And so there's probably not a ton of them out there. That's why it's going for probably more than some. And the fact that the front of it actually looks really good also helps with the price. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the person that hopefully gets it and they put it aside. They keep it and they say, hey, look at this awesome mantle I got, and just flip it over. Check out the back. And just because that, again, it's a very unique. I wouldn't say it's a 1-on-1 because there's probably other ones that were pasted in and stuff, but I'm not sure. Like there probably aren't a ton of them out there that have this very unique characteristic.
It's like the one that got cut out, like that went for a lot of money, which was really, really cool. I think that was even my favorite. I think if I was going to own a mantle, and I'm not going to, but if I was, that would be
part of the story, right?
Yeah.
You've held one though.
I have held one. I have a picture of me with a selfie of it,
One other little tidbit about the mantles: the 2 highest selling authentic cards were authentic altered. So
interesting.
There is a market out there for altered cards. I guess the one looks like gem mint, but it's altered. It's like
it's clearly been cut.
Right. there's a market out there because it's the mantle, right? Like that's part of the reason why, is because it's the 52 mantle. It's the iconic card.
Yeah. All right, guys. I don't have anything else for you this week. I think we talked about plenty. A lot of big news happening this week. That's all I got for you. I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Adios.